Let's start. So thanks for coming. Today the plan is to talk a lot about frisbee, and I hope that it's not just going to be me talking, but we're going to have a good interaction, and you will ask a lot of questions, and you're welcome to challenge like the things that I'm saying, because I'm just talking about my opinion. So it is based on some experience, but of course there's many perspectives on the things, and some of the things could also be different. So let's try to sort of share knowledge and make it the best in that way. And I'll do it in English, but you're also welcome to ask questions in Estonian or other language you are comfortable with that I'm aware of. So first of all, just a little bit about myself in the context of Ultimate. Some of you know more about me, some of you know less. So just to say that I played Ultimate for a while, since 2004. I've had a chance to play different competitions and different levels and different worlds and Euros. So that has been nice to get a lot of experience. I've also had the chance to travel and live in different countries and play with different teams and different styles. So that has been really fun to learn how Ultimate is played in different cultures, because there are some differences and there are some pros and cons to different styles. So that has been nice. I played for a lot of teams, and I've also sort of ended up in the coaching role for most of the teams I played. I don't know why, but maybe because I'm interested that the team does well and I like tactics, so somehow I end up in the coaching team always. But I've actually never been a non-playing coach, so I don't know how it is to be a non-playing coach. I've always been a playing coach, and I think being a non-playing coach would be way better, but so far I've still liked playing Ultimate so much so that I haven't decided to try a non-playing coach. In terms of on the field, the position I play the most is cutter in offense, and recently I've started to play more handling, and that's mainly because I'm getting slower. But sort of that's like, I'm definitely more geared towards offense. I like offense more than defense. I think I know more about offense than defense. So all throughout today, you will also maybe see that there's more focus a bit on offense than defense. I really enjoy tactics a lot. So that's the type of player I am. I think a lot tactically. I think a lot about how how are we playing team against team, that we have these 5 players in indoor or 7 players, and how to beat the other team. And I'm less focused on maybe the individuals and how to exactly play very well against that individual or other things. I reached my career highs when I played in US in 2014 for Ring of Fire. That was a great season. That was, I think, the most fun season I've had, and I was probably also playing my best at that time. I wanted to highlight also that the time when I feel that I improved the most in Ultimate was actually 7 years into playing, and that was when I attended the Sokai camp in Russia with some of you here and some other people as well, where it was like, wow, okay, this is so cool. There's been, there's so much more about Ultimate than I knew before. So I think that days like this and other kind of camps, I really encourage you to go and attend them, because you never know what you learn. Usually you learn some cool things, and that might improve your game a lot. So I think it's really nice to try to attend the camps and learn like that. So why is it that I'm holding this workshop? When I moved to Estonia, moved back to Estonia in October, and I thought that, okay, I've been living abroad for a lot, and I haven't seen many of you, and don't know what's going on in the Ultimate scene in Estonia. And I had sort of experienced different things, and I thought, okay, it must be a good idea somehow to share the information that I have with you as fast as possible, so you can take whatever you want from that. And then I thought, what could be the way to do it? And I decided, okay, I will run a few of these workshops where I just talk about stuff, and then then you have the information, and then you can do what you want with it. If you like it, then use it. If you don't like it, then it's just interesting to know. So that's sort of the reason why I'm doing the workshop. And it was really tricky to figure out how should I do it, and what should I talk about it here, because I don't exactly know sort of what you know. So I don't know what piece of information in my head is useful for you. I don't exactly know what's the best way to give it to you or how to transform the information to you. So now we're just going to try out something today, and please let me know if this works good or not so good, or how we could do it better in the future, because then we can do it better. So the plan is that we are going to have 2 sessions. We're going to have a session until about 1:30, then we have 1 hour for lunch. I hope you brought your lunch. And then we have another 2.5 hours, and we finish at 5. We'll start by talking a little bit about what are the individual skills of a complete player, in my opinion, outdoor and indoor. And then the main bulk of things will be going on high-level indoor team tactics. Like, that's basically what we're mainly going to talk about. And what we will do is that we will talk some theory here, and then we're going to show it on the field, and then we come back to some theory and go it on the field, and so on. So we'll go back and forth a few times. But it is going to be, let's say, more theory and talk versus maybe like a regular clinic. Because in that way we can cover more stuff, and we will show it on the field, but we won't have time really to do the repetitions. That's something that you can then do at your trainings if you want, or you can ask me and we can run a session or so. And then in the end, we'll have about an hour. We'll talk about how to set up your team to succeed in terms of how to set up your season, and what to think about when you run trainings and things like that. And there's also written Q&A in the end, but please ask questions all the time. I think that's going to be much more fun. Any questions, thoughts so far? Good?
Good.
Excited?
Yay.
Yes, let's go. Okay, so big perspective. So if you sort of want to be very efficient and want to, at a shortest amount of time or effort become the best player or the best team, then a good idea is to know, like, what does best look like in the beginning. Because otherwise you can spend a lot of time doing some things which maybe lead you to that direction, or maybe they actually are paths sort of not to being a great player or a great team. So a good idea is to know, like, how the game is played on a high level. What does it require from an individual? What does it require from a team? So I hope to sort of share some of that. So you can think of it like that. And then once you know, then you can sort of figure out your journey to there. You say, okay, so this is what we want to reach, or I want to reach in X amount of years. So that means that I should learn this and this and this and this and this, and then in the end I'll be a really good player, or we're a really good team. And then once you have the plan, then you can get to work. So individual skills in the beginning. So I start outdoor and then we do indoor. They are quite similar, but I'll point out a few differences in my opinion. So there actually goes a lot into, if you think like a perfect player, what does a perfect player do? What does a perfect player have? Then I have like a lot of things. So first of all, throwing wise, there's a lot of throws, and on a high level, like all of these throws are used at certain points. Of course, you need to be able to throw a really good backhand. You need to be able to throw a really good forehand, but that's not all. You need to have a good hammer. You also need it outdoors, especially against zones and so on. Or if you are a team like moon catchers, then you need it all the time. And like you can be very successful as a team with hammers outdoor. That's really fun. You should know how to do blades. You can also do them outdoor when it's not so windy. You definitely need to know how to do good scoobers. They are also very handy against zone in special situations. You also need to have your weak hand throw. So yes, if you're right-handed, you need to be able to throw with your right hand. But there are situations where you need to throw with your offhand, or it is more advantageous to throw with your offhand. So you should be at least practice your lefty backhand if you're right-handed, or the other way around if you're left-handed. You should know how to do push pass. There's also like very good moments for that. So if I can get a disc, right? So you know. So let's say we are attacking that way. This is right the end zone. Robin here is my dump cutter, whatever, that cuts here into this space really short to me. Like, it's tough to throw the short forehand because I'm just going to smack it into his stomach and he's going to drop it. Maybe I can get off a lefty backhand, that's also good, or you can do just a push pass, which is actually the easiest. So if you know how to do that, and you just put it up there and he catches that. Then it's not just enough to have good backhand and forehand, you also want to have very many release points. So you want to be able to release it in the mid, but you also want to be able to release it high or really low and different spots. You want to have a no pivot throw, so that means that if Soam is here gonna mark me, so if Soam is gonna mark me here and it's gonna be quite aggressive, forcing me. It's gonna force me here forehand, right? Then instead of taking time and stepping out and doing the backhand, I can also just go down from my knees and just throw the backhand right away without making the pivot. So you should also practice your non-pivot throw if you can. Thanks, Sam. Outdoors, you should be able to, like, it's not enough. You actually have to be able to execute it in wind, like in medium wind and strong wind. It gets really, really tough. And lastly, but very important, you should be able to constantly break the mark. And I've written here that outdoors, in my opinion, if you're able to break someone around versus breaking them inside, then that is actually better. That is a better skill to have. Both skills are great, but if you only have to have one, then I would say it should be that one. Does anyone can think why is that? Why is it better to be able to break someone around versus break someone from the inside?
Go.
No, you go. You were gonna start.
Well, for me, just that the defense might be, better position if it's an inside throw, and if it's an outside throw, then you just the offense has a better position in that situation.
Yes, exactly. So just to put it here, like let's say we have the disc here. So X's are discs. This is X's are offense. This is the disc. Let's say the force is forehand, and we're playing some kind of a end zone set where we isolate number one here. Then we have a defender here. So I wanna put the disc here into the break space. So I have two options. I can either break with an inside forehand, right, and throw the disc here like this, or I can break with an around backhand and throw the disc like this. So around backhand is better because in that way I'm always putting the disc, making sure putting it in front of the offense player, so the defender is behind, and there's less, like this throw has smaller margin of error, this throw has a higher margin of error. Both can work, but if you are thinking, what could be the next skill or what could be the next thing you want to improve in your outdoor game, like being able to do around breaks is a really, really cool skill to have. Like you can make such a big difference in your team if you have very good around breaks. You can really get the team out of trouble a lot, and once that throw is hit, and your team is good, then you probably will score with the next pass right away. So that's a cool skill. Indoor, what we are focusing today, it's not so important because you anyway throw high throws, but now outdoor season is coming. So catching, a lot of catching, right? Different ways of catching. You should catch like this. You should catch like this. You should catch like this. You should catch one-handed. You should catch low one-handed. You should be able to lay out and catch with two hands, with one hand. A lot of catches to be made. Cutting. So you can split up cutting into many different things. So first of all, the way how you cut, you want to cut with very sharp cutting lines. So not curve, but very sharp. So you go one way, and if you change direction, you go completely the other way. You want to be agile in changing space. You can go slow, and then you can go full speed, and you can go slow again. There's some different handler cuts. It's very good to be able to do a lot of different ways how you can get free upline. If you sort of search online, I think you can quite easily find some article that says here are like 10 different ways how you can get free upline. Like I would recommend to try to practice different ways because it's really, really good if you can get free upline from a dump position. You can also go do up and stop, and maybe I have to. So just to visualize, so here we have the disc here on the sideline, force is there. I'll mark that the attack is going this way, and you are here as the dump, right? So the up and stop is basically that you are going up very fast, and then you sort of stop here, and then you get the throw. So one way is you go up and you leave, one way is you go up and back, but then you also have an up and stop. And then you stop, and then you get the disc. And then your sort of defender just blows past you, and then you can get the disc. End zone offense cuts. So there's of course sort of a lot of normal running, but I've written also the V cut. I think that's an important cut to have. So this is that when you have, so let's say a player is here, and you are here number 1 in the vertical stack, and let's say the dump has gone away, there's no dump. So the V cut is basically that you are sort of attacking this space here, where the dump used to be, or maybe you play an offense where there's no dump, but then when you see that this is not on because the defender is really, really close to you, then you actually change direction and go up like that, and then you get the disc here. So this is the V cut. And you can implement that also indoor if you play a vertical stack. So just to show, so let's say you have the disc here, and then you play a 3-person vertical stack. Let's say your dump was here, but your dump, I don't know, went away, and now you are the number 1, and you need to provide the second dump option, and then you can go sort of attack this space, and if the person is really close, then you go here, and then you get the disc up there. So you can also do it indoor. Yes, there's different ways to cut as a cutter. So a smart cut would be a cut where you are very much aware of your defense's positioning. So basically, like you should take advantage if your defender is in a wrong position. So if Som, you come here again. So let's say we are attacking that way, and Som is defending me under, but instead of like being very close to me, and the disc is somewhere there, like he's somewhere here, right? He's like giving me 2 meters. Then instead of doing some lot of fakes and things like that, like 2 meters is enough. Like if somebody gives you 2 meters, that's enough. You just start running, and then you get the disc. So try to be aware if the positioning of your defender is not so good. Thanks. And then you can just sort of take advantage of that. Like that would be a smart cut. Or another smart cut would be that if you're running deep and you can see that the player is sort of starts to look at the disc. Okay. At that moment you can change direction because they're not looking at you. Yes. End zone offense. Smart positioning as zones or poaches. Like that's important. And reading and reacting to defense. All right. Marking. You want to be doing good marking, athletic, being able to cover low throws. That's important. Like a lot of break throws come low. A lot of people, especially outdoors, throw low. So you want to be very good at getting there. Defense. You want to be able to be athletic, tight. You want to always have the best positioning, so constant repositioning. You want to see both the player and the disc. This is really, really hard like that is a skill that takes many years to develop. You have to do a lot of reps, but it's very valuable if at all times as a defender, or almost all times, as much as you can, you are both seeing the player you are defending and also the disc, because that gives you all the information. Yeah, good at seeing the field. You want to be able to poach quickly if you can, or help, or switch. You want to be able to play the zones. You want to be able to have defensive layouts. And as characteristics, there's also some like advantageous characteristics to have to be a very good player. To be able to be focused is important. So you're focused in your trainings. So you're focused in the trainings. You're working hard. You want to achieve sort of good results. You're hungry. At the same time, you're supportive towards your teammates. So you're a team player. You have a good sort of ultimate IQ. You're smart. And last is that you are reflective. I think that's also a big thing. If you want to be good in ultimate or anything in life, then it's a very good skill to have, or something to practice, is to actually think about, so how did I do last time? What did I do good? What can I improve? And then you try to change for the better. All right. So what are your thoughts on this? Are there some things that are missing here that you think is also very important to have to be a complete player?
Maybe knowing the rules.
Knowing the rules, yes.
I think it's not like just in general being smart with the rules as well, because sometimes you can like use it in your advantage too if someone doesn't know, or just that also I think is to be a complete player you should know like all the small things about the rules.
Yes, totally agree. Great addition. Something more?
Probably sideline. Like,
sideline? Yeah. Yes, like what can you do in the
I
sideline?
don't know, maybe give some good instructions, or
Yeah.
just be supportive.
Yes. That's also a big thing in the teams. To be an active sideline player. So not just to drink your water and hope the team does well, but to actually be focused in the game. Whatever your team has decided, what role the sideline has, are you sort of helping one person at a time, or are you just providing a lot of noise when the team is in defense? Yes, something more?
Maybe it goes under smart, but the vision of field and how the other team is playing. So read play to be there before the offense even thinks about it or anything. So you know what the offense is doing.
Yeah, having a good anticipation, like what's the next logical thing to happen? Like where are the players going to be in half a second or in 1 second? For sure.
Or even like what defense the others are playing and stuff like that.
Yes.
Understand that.
So like also in the point, you mean, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you're on the field and you're aware. Okay, what is the defense trying to do? Then you can do what
Adjust.
works best against that, right?
Yeah, I think that's the reflective part, because sometimes, as you said, you're always like a playing coach, right? So sometimes it's hard to see what is wrong when you're playing as well. So like it's good if you can do both. You can be a coach and also see the field and understand what could be done differently. Because a lot of times you play and it just doesn't work, but no one understands why. And if you can see it, then that's a really big plus.
Yes, for sure. And at some point, I'm writing it also here that video is a huge thing. I mean, when you think you are doing something on the field, whenever you look at the video, you probably see, it wasn't quite like what you imagined. Like you are almost always wrong when you are just working from your memory. So like watching video, like watching how you play, how your team plays, it can be really, really useful tool for your improvement. Nice. Anything you disagree with? It's like, nah, doesn't mean it. So I hope that this is rather like, rather inspirational and not the other way around. It's like, oh shit, there's like so many things. Because there's almost no player that does everything this great, right? I mean, the best players do a lot of these things great, but not everything. But this could be sort of an idea list for you. So if you want to be better in Ultimate, okay, what could I be working on? There's a lot of things you can be working on. So let's talk about indoor, because that's what the focus today will be. We'll go through the same list, but I'll just say what's different. Not much is different, but a little bit is different. So first of all, wind is not a factor here, so that makes throwing way easier, like way easier. So that's nice. Also, the round break is not so important anymore, because indoor, like all the effective breaks, on most of the time they are the hammers and the blades and the scoobers. It's less often that you have the opportunity to just throw a backhand or a forehand that no players are in the way. What's extra for indoor? You have to be able to throw and catch very sharp and fast hammers and blades. It's really advantageous to be able to throw them very fast and sharp. And ideally you want to be able to cover the whole field. So you want to be, from any point of the field, be able to hit any other point in the field with a sharp throw. If you can do that, then you have then you are top class when it comes to indoor throwing. And if you don't have that, then you can practice that if that's something you want to do, because it is useful to also be able to throw from your end zone completely to the other end zone a fast hammer and blade, maybe against the zone or maybe to a player that is cutting deep and is free. There's also a bit less about cutting, like you don't really do end zone cuts, and you don't do this V cut that much. For example, in the end zone, you can maybe do it on the field, but there's less ways you do. Marking, it's less important to cover really low throws because most of the throws will be high. And that's about it. Everything else stays. Any other sort of thoughts about indoor versus outdoor when it comes to player skills? Like what is something that becomes more important when indoor or maybe less important when indoor?
Indoor, you have to adjust to the field you have. Like, is it low ceiling? Are the walls close? You have to think about that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, for sure. Because you play in all kind of interesting halls, and they matter. Sometimes the ceiling is so low that it takes away like half of your throws, and you have to adjust. Mm-hmm. Something more?
Also on defense, like if the walls are really close, you want to be pushing your player to the sideline, then you can maybe mark differently, more aggressively, because like they have no space on the sideline to throw. So
yeah,
like sounds unfair, but that's you gotta use that advantage you have.
Yes.
So yeah.
And the field is the same for both teams. Yeah, for sure. Something more?
I think maybe extra focus is needed because like the game is much faster. The blades are going over like all the defense. Also, if you take zone, if you like one throw is over, then the defense already failed basically. So the whole like the points are shorter, so you have less time to actually like do the defense. So you need to be really focused and like, as it said, hungry. And like the game is shorter. Everything is smaller, so the throws are also going anywhere.
Yeah.
And you need to be like you need to really see the disc and the defense, not only.
Yes, yeah. It can be that you already lose the point while the pull is up and you are going there to mark your player and you're a little bit lazy, or maybe you're not paying attention. So, for example, I'm guarding Lauri sometimes. He's really tough to guard, and he starts in a dump position, and what he does is whenever he sees that I'm running too fast towards him, he just goes into the end zone. And when I'm not ready for that, then I just run towards him, and then he just goes to the end zone, and then there's a score. And then like I played defense for like 3 seconds. I'm like, yeah, okay, better next time. So really important to right away be ready because points are super short. Something more?
Yeah, it's the same point, but like on defense, mistakes aren't really forgiving. Like outdoors, if the field is 100 meters, you might catch up. You know, if you stay behind a few meters, but indoors you've just lost. Like you can't catch up to cutters anymore. That's the point. Yeah.
Yes. Great. Nice. So now I want you to take 2 to 3 minutes, find a partner, and discuss what skills a complete player in 2030 might have. So 7 years from now, because You know, the list that I showed you in 2023, like if you looked at how players played in 2010, they didn't have all those things. Like they had some of these things and a lot of these things, but not all of these things. So find a partner, whatever language you want, 2 to 3 minutes, talk how, what skills might a complete player in 2020 have.